About a week ago, we released a competition video.
Pi from SLR Lounge has flown all the way across the world to be here to try to redeem himself.
Spoiler alert, Pi did win. If you haven't seen this video, you can click on it in the link in the description.
Let's find out who won. Click it. Click. No. Yes!
Oh, thank goodness.
But Pi did win, but something interesting happened. I was never a huge fan with Pi's final shot. I thought it was kind of a weird choice to begin with. And many of you felt the exact same way. Many of the comments on YouTube said an earlier picture that Pi took, even though it was wildly underexposed, was actually much better than the image he decided to edit.
I'm not trash talking for the video now, but why are you underexposing by 6 stops?
I'm not trying to.
And this is the image here. As you can see, it's like 4 stops underexposed, but there's something about it that's kind of interesting and moody. And Luminar wanted to sponsor a video where I simply use their software to edit any photo. And so I thought it would be interesting to edit Pi's own photograph and see if I could come up with a better submission than he did. At the end of this video, you can decide, do you like my edit or do you like Pi's more? Let's get right to it here. Now, if you may or may not know, Luminar's claim to fame is their artificial intelligence sliders and enhancements. We're gonna get to those in a second, but this image is just super dark. So I'm going to go under this light panel here and move some of these sliders that you're probably accustomed to. I'm going to push the exposure just a little bit. I don't wanna kill the mood here though. I do like how dark it is. I just want her to pop a little bit more. And we can click on the eyeball up top and just kind of jump between these 2 shots. Now under this AI Enhance slider, this is where the software is going to try to figure out what your scene is and then enhance the picture based on what the photo is of. So if it's of a person, it may do different things to that person, or a landscape, something like that. And as I push this up, you can see it is making the image better in the sense of a more correct exposure, but I actually like how dark this image is. So I don't think this is going to work for this particular image, so we can keep on moving on. Now, AI structure is very similar to the clarity slider, but it actually does a much better job of not making people look insane. So as I push this up, you'll see that it's enhancing the background, but it's not actually changing Amanda Lee's face. I think it looks pretty good. Let's move on to color. I'm going to add some vibrance here and some saturation. Let's see what the remove color cast does. Now under the black and white conversion tab, we could convert this to black and white by clicking here, and then we can come in and on the individual channels, we can completely change the black and white conversion here. I really like this picture in black and white. However, I really want to try to pull it off in color. So I'm just going to cut this off for now, and let's keep on moving down. So details, enhancer, this is going to be kind of like your smart sharpen in Photoshop, but it gives you a little bit more control in the sense that you can change the medium, large, and small details individually here. Denoise, we probably don't need to do any of that. Landscape enhancer, obviously this isn't a photo of a landscape, but if you wanted to go down to foliage enhancer, it's probably gonna boost the greens up. Yeah, you can see you can just go crazy with that. I don't think that's necessary for this shot, maybe just a little bit. All right, I also don't think this image calls for a vignette. Let's move on down to the creative side here. You've probably seen that we've released a few videos about the AI sky replacement. That is my favorite feature of this software. We don't have a sky here, so no need to use that. There is also a sun rays slider here. I can go crazy with the sun rays, and I can move the sun anywhere I want. You can see I can have the sun rays coming through here. It's actually quite smart. Like as I move the sun placement, it's not going to be coming over the dark areas of the scene. It's going to be coming around dark objects. But I know how much you guys hate when I use sun rays. So we will not be using sun rays today. Now, the dramatic slider seems to be some sort of smart contrast type thing going on. I could see this looking really good in a black and white image, but I don't think I need the image to be this crunchy. So I think I'm going to leave this slider alone for right now. Now, if we come down to the little smiley face on the right side, this is where you can do all the really crazy stuff. And it's actually not letting us move these sliders because it's not detecting a face in this shot. And that's great. I mean, it shows you that the software is actually working. And a lot of these sliders, you wouldn't want to use them on an image like this anyway. I mean, there's no blemishes to be seen. We're not going to whiten the teeth or whiten the eyes. You can hardly see them. So I'm going to go back up to creative and color styles, and I'm just going to push the amount all the way up to 100, and I'm just going to go down these LUTs or lookup tables and try to find a look that I think looks good. And obviously it's going to be way too much at the beginning, and we're going to tone it down once we find something that we like. All right, I think Beijing looks pretty cool. As you can see, it's washed it out a little bit. This is what it looks like without, and this is at 100%. I can also change the contrast here. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to click on the Pro tab over here and go to Dodge and Burn and Start Painting. I want to make sure that I have the Darken option chosen here. This light on her chest is just a little hot, so I am going to just try to tone this down a little bit by dodging this out. And I think I've gone a little bit too far. I'm going to click down here on the History tab, and I'm just going to undo what I've done. I'm going to try it one more time, but this time I am going to lower my strength just a little bit. I was at 50% before. Let's go 25. And if you just want to see what one individual thing has done, you can click on these little boxes over here, and it will show you just what the Dodge and Burn is doing. Once again, I feel like I have gone too far, so I'm just going to lower the overall amount here. You're basically just kind of changing the opacity overall of just this effect. All right, I feel like that looks pretty good. The last thing I'm going to do is crop this image, and I think this could be a vertical or horizontal image. All right, I think the last thing that's bothering me, as you can see, her shirt is clipping in the red channel. I'm gonna go back up to our Essentials panel and click on Color. And then what I can do is I can pinpoint individual colors here. I'm going to click on the red channel and just lower the saturation just in the reds. You can see that brings things back down to reality. So what do you guys think? Is my edit better than Pi's? I personally think so, but I also admit that the image that I just chose is pretty wacky. It's extremely contrasty, and I did a pretty heavy edit on it as well. But then again, I think Pi's composition was kind of wacky, and I think he went kind of crazy with the post-processing on his original image as well. So let me know in the comments what you think. And if you're interested in Luminar 4, you can go to the link in the description. It has a 7-day free trial. And best of all, if you decide to buy it, it's super cheap anyway. It's only 89 bucks. And if you use the code Fstoppers at checkout, you'll save an additional 10 bucks. It's incredible software for the price, especially if you need to swap out skies. If you're a real estate photographer, you need to buy this right now because it's the absolute easiest way to swap out skies. You can check out the other video where we talked about that in the description below as well. I'll see you next time.